and I'm asked here to present on so many issues in 15 minutes. So I'm going to rush through. Okay. So, one of the things that I've been asked to talk about today is about the sponsor license. Ladies and gentlemen, the sponsor license is a very good thing that has happened to the UK for businesses, organizations, colleges, charities, churches, any organization that is facing a shortage of employees or staff, or if you want to recruit students from abroad. So the sponsor license is not only for business, it's for charities, it's for colleges, universities, or even some of the people that have been spoken about, even if you run a small business. I have done sponsor licenses for people that are a one-man team and they've not even had contracts with any organization or NHS or local council, but they are there as a registered company. Some have been trying even to go through CQC. These I call them, they are mangoes hanging on a tree, and a mango does not hang on a tree forever. It will one day fall off. Take your opportunity now while they're still there, because the government might switch off this tape. So sponsor licenses are there for you to be able to use them. So this has been facilitated to allow people to enter into the United Kingdom, and it's there to provide employment for people to be able to work in the United Kingdom. It can also solve issues of staff shortages, and above all, it has united families. I know families that have brought in a number of their relatives from Zimbabwe, Botswana, South Africa, India, Asia. They've been here. Some had not seen their brothers or sisters, and some were wives or husbands who were living apart, but have been able to be reunited through the sponsor license. So while I applaud it, and I applaud it very well, that the sponsor license is a very good thing. If you have got a business, if you have got a church, if you have got an organization that you are running, just get a sponsor license. It's very cheap to get, 560 something pounds to get a sponsor license. Most of the businesses that I know fall into that category. But most of the sponsor licenses that I've dealt with, and I do have in our books more than 100 healthcare companies that we help one way or the other, and we have done, I would say, more than 100 or so as well sponsor license applications. Some are no longer on our books because we did the sponsor license and they have left. But the major sponsor license application that we have done has been for the healthcare business, for the care business. The care business does not require any education, does not require any qualification, although on paper you have to try to prove that why are you recruiting someone from abroad, because you have to show that they are much better than whoever is not recruited in the United Kingdom. So the main things that will be required for an employee to come from abroad will be the B1 English test. If they're from a TB country, then they have to bring the TB certificate, and those are the main things really then, but we always encourage people to employ people that have some kind of experience, people that have that they know what they are doing or have done some kind of training. I prefer at least some hands-on training. Some people have recruited people that have done online training only. So some of the challenges that have been brought by this visa has been that, and these are things coming from real feedback that we have seen, yeah, and through Facebook, social media, or through people that have come to say, can I sue my employer or can I sue my employee for these reasons? And I always joke with people, with employers, that you guys have to get me before your employee gets you, because if you don't get me before your employee, I'll come hard on you and I'll come tough, because most of them are employment issues. So some people will be saying, okay, one of the things is employers failing to do sponsor duties. Once you get your sponsor license, you have to remember that as an employer with a sponsor license, the Home Office is giving you a responsibility to take care of immigration laws and regulations. In other words, you are putting on the head of the Secretary of the Home Affairs Department. You are an agent of the government. So they give you responsibilities such as reporting when an employee does not turn for work, such to notify them if you increase your branches, if you change your address. So you've got some sponsor duties that you are supposed to do. And guess what? I'll tell you frankly, more than 60% of employers are not complying completely with their responsibilities. They only think of responsibilities when they've received a notification from the Home Office that we are coming for an inspection, or if one of your employees or one of your client service users have whistleblowed on you, that's when they think, oh God, what did I do? What did I not do? Then you call me. But sometimes it's too good in time, sometimes it's out of time. And it is very important that even if you've made a mistake as an employer or as a sponsor license holder, it's good to make corrections before the Home Office comes on you, because if you do corrective action and you put an action plan, the Home Office will understand you. But if you have not done anything to correct it, then I think you will be in trouble. So employers failing to do sponsor duties, you need to do that. Employers are underpaying employees, whether deliberately or by mistake. I had one case whereby because the software they were using Sage, and Sage was not calculating the salary according to the last penny. I think there was 2 or 3 pennies missing per hour, and the Home Office picked on that, and they were saying that you're underpaying your employees. It's something that we're able to explain. That is, the technology that failed the person. Technology that failed the person, but that was sorted. But there are some employers who are not paying their employees on purpose or for whatever reason it is. I will not go into that. It's political, but maybe whatever reason it is, maybe you don't have hours in your company, or you keep getting so many people than the capacity of your company. You need to be careful with that. COS scams in various forms. Oh, that one is big. There are so many scams that are going on. Scams. One of the scams is that company A does not even know that their company details are being used by Mr. X in Nigeria or in Zimbabwe, claiming to be an agent of company A. All you then do know then is when the relative of Mr. B comes knocking on your door, fuming that their visa application has been refused and they've been banned to enter the UK for 10 years because you gave them a fake COS. So, because the scammers are getting your details are public, they're on the sponsor register. So they will know that your details of company A are on the sponsor register. They will get your phone number, your email from there. Then they will know that company A is most likely registered with the CQC. They'll go on CQC, they will get the registered manager is Andrew, so they'll get the name of Andrew. Then they will go on your website, then they will see your logo, then they download your logo. Again, maybe you might need to see him so that you can log your website so that some things are not downloadable as your logo. So they will create a profile out of your company. And then they now know the sequence of the digits and numbers of the COS and what is required. Then they will create that, send it to say, I've secured a job for you for 6,000 and this, and then things happen. So that's one of the scams that are happening. Some of the scams that are happening is, people cheating each other. And also one thing that I need to tell you as an employer is, while you might be able to recover most of your costs as an employer, the 2 costs that you cannot recover is the COS charge and the surcharge. So the COS charge of 199 and the skilled worker charge, I think it's 1,800, 1,900. Those 2 charges, you cannot recover them from the employee. Anything else, it's a matter of contract. It's a matter of employment contract. And again, it's important between employer and employee to be able to agree the terms. Don't then say to an employee, I'm going to garnish £200 from you when it's not in the employment contract. If that employee takes you to the employment tribunal, you'll be in trouble. As an employee, before you come to the UK, those who are seeing me on Facebook, I always like to say that phrase. So see me on TV or Facebook. Don't come before you sign a contract. And I've seen other scams where people say, this is the real contract and this is the Home Office contract. Which contract is which? Because you might trust your employee today, but when things go south, that employee is the one who put you under the bus. So some of the things that we agree when we are still smiling, the law does not really go that way, because so there are so many scams that are going on. And then, so that another thing that we get is about lazy employees. My employee doesn't want to work. Or the employee I had one where they were saying, it's 8 o'clock, but it's still dark, I'm not going to go to work. This is UK, my friend. In the winter, it gets dark until 9 o'clock, and it gets dark at 3 p.m. So you have to work anytime. Breach of employment laws, health and safety, etc. I'll skip through. So other comments on immigration. So the sponsor license is not only the only route when people can come to the UK. There's various ways that people can come to the UK, and even if you're in the UK, you can switch from one type of visa to the other. So we've got family-based visas, points-based visas. We have got visas for, say, you want to come as a spouse, or you've got a child in the UK, you've got a child born in the UK that has spent 7 years or 10 years. And may I just say also to my friends that I've heard that so many people are getting pregnant when they are on COS. Getting pregnant will not make your child automatically British. You have to know that point number one. And your child will have to spend 7 years in the UK for them to establish private life. And if you get pregnant quickly and you're on a job before you've accrued the time period, you might not qualify for any maternity pay, and you might not qualify for any statutory pay that so you might put yourself, but no, it's nature. But don't plan it if it's because it has happened. Thank God for blessings. Okay, so there's various ways of coming to the UK, and some people have been able to get through their papers through medical grounds because they've got long-term serious medical issues, and they've been able to get visas based on that. If you do not have leave to remain in the United Kingdom, you are not allowed to open a bank account, you're not allowed to rent a house, you're not allowed to have a GP, you're not allowed to drive. I know people do that, but if you go to the NHS and they realize that you do not have papers, they will charge you for the NHS services. And I do understand that just to stay in the hotel of NHS for a night is maybe 300 or 400 pounds per night. And if you're in the hotel of NHS feeling unwell, then you end up with a 13,000, 14,000 or 15,000 bill. And again, they will then penalize you to say, until you pay our 15,000, we're not even going to consider your visa applications. So it's a merry-go-round issue there. But there are various ways that you can do that as well, get your visas. Okay. So immigration is linked to issues like employment, as I was discussing as well, and with issues like family. In my firm, we do a lot of things, family, immigration, dispute resolution, wills, probate, trust, and so forth. So this is about immigration, which is links to employment law. This one is very interesting. Remember, when your visa expires, believe you me, I have heard a number of people or clients who don't even know when their visa is expiring. How does that happen? We phone them, they say, you haven't contacted us about your visa. Because a person is a free agent, they might come back to me for their visa, or they might go to Mr. Cass or Mrs. Cass because they're lawyers as well, or they might go to anyone else. Then, I forgot that my visa is about to expire. And yet that person has got the latest iPhone and the latest Samsung, and they don't, all they do is social media and Facebook, and not put a reminder on their phone when the visa is about to expire, and so forth. So please remember when the visa is about to expire. If your visa expires, 14 days after your visa expires, you become illegal. Whatever time that you've accrued in the United Kingdom will not count towards you are starting again, you are pressing the button again. You're assuming you've spent 10 years in the UK, you're starting again. So remember when your visa is about to expire. This only does not only affect people who are visa holders. When it comes to compliance, one of the things that we do when we go to audit companies, Some companies don't have HR systems when we go to audit them, and they don't even have a system of recording or regulating how their employees' visas are expiring. And that is a serious breach with the Home Office, because you have to, number one is copy the document. Number two, you certify the document as copied by me and Nyamaya on such a date. Number three, you do a check, an employer's check, you check everything, and then you file that document. If you've got a software system, an electronic system, make sure everything is up to date on the electronic system. I've seen some employers who don't check people who say who they believe. I use the word believe deliberately, who they believe that they are British. If you are going to employ someone who brings to you a British passport or an Irish passport, check them. It doesn't matter if they get offended. You check them once and that's it. Because I've had situations whereby someone have been given, or some people have been given fake British passports, fake Irish passports, and they believe that that person is British. No, they are not. You have to do a document check so that you are covered. So that also helps employers. You should check that and do not. Okay, this one: do not accept abuse because of an immigrant. Please protect yourself. Coming from outside the company, the UK does not mean that you are open to abuse. You know, let me challenge you as my colleagues. Even if you are an immigrant in this country, you came in today or yesterday, please don't look at yourself as an immigrant. Look at yourself as a person, as a human being. Achieve your maximum potential. Your potential is unlimited. Don't look at yourself as a black person, as a colored person, or as any other person. To me, there's no door I cannot knock. I will knock every door. Yeah. They know me in Coventry. I've been in the Law Society at national level. I've been a councillor there, and then in Coventry and different places, and I will not stop. So yeah, that one. Okay. So ACAS settlements. I think I'm just going over my reduced time. I prepared for 30 minutes. So there's things that you need to consider about settlement, ACAS, employment, and then if you go to employment, just remember the 3 months deadline. If you're an employer or an employee, okay. All right, so family, I'll just skim through. One of the challenges that has happened, I think you will have to touch on this, Coach Gladys, when you do your presentations. I don't know what you're going to do. Chaka as well. When good is there, evil is there, and the devil was there when good people were gathering. So some of the things that we've observed, the clients coming to us, or particularly in this last, say, 12, 18 months, when this skilled worker care visa has come with masses of people, like back then in the 2000s when some of us came back. One of the things that we have noticed is that there's been an increase of domestic violence. So this domestic violence, some couples were already having problems in Zimbabwe, and then they carried them over the oceans to the UK. The domestic violence is still here. And the brother still thinks that he can smuggle the wife the way he used to smuggle the wife in Zimbabwe. Or a brother, you go to jail. In this country, they don't play. You can't bribe a policeman or anyone. You go to, and once that happens, that will also disturb your DPS, and you cannot work anywhere. These days, even as a cleaner, you need to have a DPS. So, you have to know the etiquette of this country. So there's been domestic violence, and then I'm just saying, gentlemen, and there's just a few of us in this room today, be aware of the severe consequences. If you are not getting along as a family, there's mediation that is available through charity organizations. They've got charity organizations and women, the rest of the charity organizations. Or go to a trusted member of family or an elder in church, or if you are a Muslim in the temple or mosque or wherever you do your spiritual things, or seek professional things like respite and so forth. Oh yes. Flossie can help with that as well. So please, if you've got issues, just try to solve them. if it's not solvable, and the D-word people don't talk about it, the D-word representing divorce. Sometimes when things have got, sometimes you might have to move out unless if, because sometimes when it comes to threats of life and things like that, I think that will not be good, although we might want to preserve relationships. And then there's issues of children. On issues of children, people who have just come to the UK always say, please, don't leave children alone in their house. I'm not a social worker, but social workers here, they will know better than myself. There's a certain age and maturity when you can leave children alone in their house. But don't fight for shifts mother and father to such an extent that you are neglecting children in their house. And those social workers, when they come, don't say they are bad people because they are doing their work. So please, I'm sorry, we have my shifts with the shift young, we want to get over time. Arrange how you can do your shifts. Because we've had issues of children, we've had to go to court to make children arrangement orders or prohibitive steps orders and so forth, because people have been having issues because of children. I always say to people, it doesn't mean that because A has brought their children from Zimbabwe after 3 months, you have to put your pressure on yourself to bring children as well. Your circumstances are different. If your circumstances cannot detect that, please don't. Check your time. Then there's settlements and all those things. The last thing that I will comment on, and I'll just go to the last point on this one. I encourage everyone to have a will. It doesn't matter that I'm looking to so nicely, blissfully dressed people. You will die. At some point, you're going to die. And some of us, we have got, we are beautiful, but most of us or some of us have got some kind of disease one way or the other, or God forbid, going home, you might be in an accident, you need a will. A will protect you, it will protect your property in the UK, in Zimbabwe, in South Africa, the well-being of your children, you need a will. A will is the one that you use to distribute your property after you die, right? But before you die, you need these 2 documents, a lasting power of attorney. Then we have got 2 types of lasting power of attorney. We have got the health lasting power of attorney, and we have got the financial lasting power of attorney. What does the lasting power of attorney do? The lasting power of attorney is there to assist in the decision making of your things in case you are incapacitated yourself. So if you are incapacitated in terms of health, you have to appoint an attorney to make health decisions on your part. If not, then your doctor or your GP or your consultant will make those decisions for you. You've heard of situations where they will say, can you switch on the machine or switch it off or things like that. So if you want to involve your family or someone, you have a power of attorney or the power of attorney. Point number 2 is a financial point, a finance power of attorney. Again, you need that one because if, for example, you lose mental capacity, then you need someone else to make those financial decisions on your part. So it doesn't matter you're 30, 40, 50 years, I think everyone should have those 2 documents. Do you know what? A company can also have a will. A company can have a lasting power of attorney, but you need to have a continuity plan for your company. Thank you.